you, Mr. President, and thank you both for coming. My head is swimming a bit. I had a whole bunch of questions, but in the end, if you were in our seats, what recommendations would you be giving to the government with respect to this legislation?
You want to start first?
I mean, I think that it's clear. I mean, we've heard from many different people that definitely there needs to be more research done and collect evidence. Does that help with this particular legislation? It will eventually, once we've had time to collect the data. But I mean, as of now, to say we can set a per se limit, I think it's very difficult. And like I said, it'd be very easy to challenge it. Once there's more data and there's more DREs, maybe there's roadside cognitive testing, it will become much easier to enforce it. But it will be difficult as of right now.
But that would be the same whether we started today or we start 6 months or in a year, correct?
Well, I think there's been no large studies to really I mean, the study we keep referring to was only 18 people who were, I believe, all chronic users. There have been no big studies to really look at this and to really understand. I mean, we do a routine when new drugs are coming to the market that may affect it. We do these studies to make sure that we can understand a lot of what Dr. K was talking about, like how long before you drive. We do that for drugs or pharmaceuticals. We can do that for here as well, but yeah, it will take time, and it will definitely are we going to end up with it? It's a very easy as alcohol that this is. No, it's probably going to be a tiered approach where there's different things that add to the evidence, but it is possible to definitely get more data to really help in that decision.
On a second round, very quickly, 1 minute, Senator Boisvenu, followed by Senator Gold.
Look, I'm a bit like Senator Pate. This information really speaks to us because we're faced with a legalization that risks going off course, legally speaking, and also to result in there being victims. That's what we have to think about the most, because we're legalizing something that's not controllable. Now, what I hear in your presentation is that, A, there's no equivalence between THC and 0.08 with alcohol. These are too ambivalent. This bill was drafted for people who smoke and not those who eat this stuff. And thirdly, the safest approach, as Mr. Gay was saying, is that when you're driving a car, it should be zero tolerance, so long as we don't have scientific proof to really be able to oversee that, whether people are smoking or eating.
Said I totally agree with. That we really are kind of ahead of the science. I mean, Senator Pate, I would say that, we do have a lot of research that's been done. It didn't take overnight that we understood alcohol and the messaging for alcohol for people. It took years to develop. We're not there with all other drugs. It took the National Traffic Safety Board to actually come forward and give recommendations, as we heard from your equivalent of NTSB here today, to say to the different modes, people need to be informed about other drugs. They need to know what drugs are safe, which are impairing, and this is critical. And the C-46 doesn't just deal with cannabis. It deals with drug-impaired driving. And for drug-impaired driving, we're talking about even over-the-counter things which impair people. We need to inform people. We need to put proper labeling. One of the things when we had the NTSB meetings, which are also available, I can provide from 2001, and those recommendations basically said we need to give better labeling on products, whether they're over-the-counter or prescription, or in this case, a recreational product. You go into a High Times, cannabis store in Toronto in a few months and buy your cannabis cigarette. Is it going to tell you, do you know what you're getting? Do you know what the concentration is? Do you know when it's safe for you to resume driving? If you are a responsible citizen of Canada, will you know when it's safe for you to get back in your car and drive? And I'd say we don't know.
Senator Gold to conclude.